Hello all, and welcome to tonight's beer review, which I'm dubbing yet another tired night beer review. Recorded that whiskey review last night, and then I went to bed, maybe not right away, but about an hour and a half after. And I slept for about, well, I wouldn't say straight, but about 13 hours on and off. And honestly, I'm still tired. I just have so much sleep to catch up on since I'm working 60 hours a week overnight. But I'm still going to do reviews. Tell you what. Okay. So, what are we reviewing tonight? Well, this is Maui Brewing's limited release. This is their new can style, by the way. You can kind of see it's completely different. Kind of got more of a Hawaiian feel to it. And this is the La Perouse White. La Perouse being the name of one of the basalt pinnacles in the Northwest Hawaiian Islands. And this is a Witbier. And it says here, Belgian-inspired ale brewed with coriander and local citrus. This is 5.2 ABV. So they don't really have a blurb much anymore on these new cans. So why don't we get down to it. I'm going to be using, I actually looked up the glassware that you should be using for a, you just notice I got a fingerprint on the outside here, for a wit beer, and it says actually you're not supposed to use a Belgian glass, even though it's a Belgian beer, and they actually suggested a lager style glass, so, which I kind of agree with because it's such a light beer. Well, light feeling beer, anyway. So, it's going to be in a lager glass. Let's pour this out. Uh-oh. Ooh, that was close. I almost over-poured there and was going to overflow. So, a bright but very cloudy yellow, extremely carbonated. I don't know if you can see that. With a thick, fluffy white head. Actually, it's a bit more fizzy than fluffy. It's just thick. Big coriander smell there. That phenolic, almost like bananas. Definitely smell that Belgian yeast there. And almost a crackery kind of malt basing to it. That meshes well with the lemony citrus. Nothing really too out of the ordinary. It smells like most wit beers. Maybe a bit more of a tropical bent to it, considering this is Maui Brewing. Still very carbonated, even though I just poured it out. Very light and refreshing on the palate. Interestingly, despite the very heavy visible carbonation, not very prickly on the mouth. But that's fine. Nice lemony citrusness in the front. Biscuity, crackery malts. Malts really come out here, interestingly enough. One big thing about that is, you know, I drank the first one in like a Belgian glass, and it actually tastes really different in the lager glass, which kind of goes to show you how glassware can really matter sometimes. Just a little ghost of hops in the finish, but very big coriander. Lasting coriander and spices in the finish. Despite the phenolic notes in the, bouquet, there's actually not much phenolic taste, not much phenolic taste on the palate itself. Very refreshing. Now, what's kind of interesting to me is, as you know, and I've said in other reviews, I usually pre-drink the beers that I review, if possible. If I order a 6-pack with 12-pack cans, I usually drink at least once and sometimes even twice before I actually do the review. So the first time I had it in the Belgian glass, and I found the coriander almost overwhelming in the Belgian style glassware, the tulip glass. Whereas here, in sort of the fluted lager style, it actually comes across as a bit more balanced. It's not clobbering me in the finish like it did in the Belgian. And go figure, I don't know why. That said, it's still very apparent, very strong, but doesn't edge over into soapy, which is what it was doing in the Belgian style glass. Malt backbone seems a little bit more apparent, as well as the lemony. It's lemon citrusness. Well, honestly, I don't think they used lemon in this. They probably used, because lemon doesn't actually grow in Hawaii all that well, except for Meyer's lemon, which are kind of expensive to use in a brew project. But on a side note, if you ever get a chance to go and try Meyer's lemon, you really should. It's a really, it tastes like lemon, but it's kind of subtly different. It was one of my grandmother's favorite fruits for cooking. You don't eat it straight, obviously. Nothing too overly complex here. Just kind of comes across as, your average Witbier. And Witbier is not one of my particular favorite styles. I'll definitely drink it, as you've seen me review many Sam Adams beers, and God knows Jim Koch really loves his Witbiers. This would make a great beach beer. Of course, most of Maui's brews are kind of made for being beach beers. It is rather interesting that none of the local breweries, and they seem to be, there always seems to be a new one popping up. None of them have really actually kind of focused on the dark beers at all. Or sours, for that matter, but sours tend to be kind of a technical challenge for brewers. As it warms up, the weediness to the malt is kind of amping up a little bit. Has a bit of the Belgian, and this is in the mids mostly, weediness and a bit of that Belgian yeast. So the funk is kind of starting to kick in as it warms up. Not much more to say on this beer. Pretty decent. It's limited release, but I don't think this is the first time they released it. I think they cycle through a lot of their seasonals. So they don't do it every year, but they do it once every several years. And it's pretty good. Like I said, it's a pretty good beach beer. It matches the spirit of the summer pretty well. Again, Witbier is not my particular style, but if it is, it's probably something to go and kind of add to your belt. And like I said, made well for Hawaii's climate. So, folks, that's your beer review for tonight. This is Maui Brewing's La Perouse White, which is not showing up too well with the glare here. There we go. La Perouse White. You can see the can a little bit better there. And that's your beer review for tonight, folks. Cheers.